Or do you want me to...
And then I'm going to unmute.
Okay, I am seeing both teams. SKO is on blue side still, so yeah, everything's good.
Yeah. Unmute, and I'm going to add 1 point to blue side. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Oh, shit. No. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am VerdantChaos, and I am joined by Abbatrombone. Say hi, Abba.
Hello, everyone. Glad to see you in chat.
So we will now be residing over Game 2. Game 1, that was a win for SKO, but we are now... right now, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are back, ladies and gentlemen. So, first game, we definitely saw a little bit of ASOL coming out, so I'm excited to kind of see more of this rework really coming through, but they might ban it out because of how effective it was last game.
Yeah, the new ASOL is kind of devastating to deal with once he gets ahead. It scales pretty hard, and the execute can't be ignored. That's a lot of AP damage, though so far we're not seeing a ban yet, so maybe that's not what they're feeling like the threat is. Looks like Maokai is going to be potentially coming out here, who's pretty strong in the jungle right now, and they were banning Kindred as well, and Wukong can also go in the jungle, so they might be trying to play for jungle and really secure those objectives. We might be seeing a lot of river skirmishes in this game, too.
I'm honestly very excited to see river skirmishes. A lot of those are just very fun, drawn out. There's a lot of escapes over walls. They honestly make for exciting gameplay.
Yeah, it can make for some very exciting gameplay. People getting out of the skin of their teeth. It's good. It's good content. But we'll have to see what they end up picking for first here. Maybe they'll pick an AD carry, or they'll get a nice prio pick on the side of SKO. Caitlyn is pretty strong right now in the bot lane, being a very big bully. And with the IE changes, she really loves getting it second item rather than third. So that's going to be our first pick for SKO.
So right now, what do you want to pair with the Caitlyn? What sport do you think is really best this meta?
Anything that can give a lot of harass. You know, Lux has always been a pretty good one. Morgana is really good for whatever you want to play with that kind of snare, but you could just play like any sort of harass, or you can play kind of a more protect, depending on how you're going to end up going with it. You kind of got to read the room with what the enemy bot lane is.
All right, and so we see a Sejuani pick. It's more rare in the top lane, but we could definitely see it come out of the jungle here. But this could be a potential flex pick here for Ragnarok.
Yeah, I've seen a number of Sejuani top games through Style Esports or other leagues that I've been able to cast with, and it's pretty interesting to watch. It does more damage than you would expect, and the lockdown can't be ignored. If you're able to get through the team, lock down their carries, and take them out, it can be a very decisive turn in some team fights. And it looks like we're getting a Karma as well, a very good pick. Could potentially be going mid here, but is more likely to be support, if I'm going to take a guess.
So right now, do you think Karma would be a good option against this new ASOL? Or in order to like kind of counteract a lot of its scaling?
Potentially, ASOL can kind of get away. He's able to get over those ledges, and his black hole does slow Karma down, negating some of that speed up, and he gets a little bit of mobility there. So I don't think that's necessarily going to be the biggest counter, but that pre-level 6 poke that they're able to provide, and of course he's been neutered. He no longer has his balls anymore, so maybe it is going to be a little bit more of a touch matchup. I would expect something more like a Syndra to be more punishing with that extra range to really poke him out and not allow him to scale and harass him. It's like we're having Poppy and Azir.
So right now, Poppy also is a flex pick that can go in the top lane or in the jungle. I think I'm suspecting here that we're going to be seeing that out of the jungle. But it's kind of funny to note that the only champion with balls now is Syndra, ironically.
Yeah, that is true. I can't think of any other that come to mind. Poppy's going to be loving fighting in these jungles, as I predicted earlier on. All those walls being nearby, slamming you into them. It's some free stuns. And of course, it's easier to pick up your shield if you don't have to walk as far. Victor here, along with Karma, it looks like they're going to be really trying to control some of these spaces for some of these objectives. They might be trying to play for more dragons on the side of Ragnarok, Loki. But we'll have to see what kind of team they end up picking. They still don't have an AD carry yet to match this Caitlyn. We'll have to see how they end up counterpicking.
So now we have both the mid lanes out, so we're not going to be worried about seeing this ASOL coming out from either side. But we know that Karma now is in the support role, and Victor is going to be in the mid lane. What ADC do you think could match up against this Caitlyn here with a Karma just as a secondary? Would
Jhin Karma is pretty devastating and does beat out Caitlyn with the burst. The only thing to contend there would be Poppy's big beefiness, but when you have Victor and Sejuani, that's not necessarily a threat, although if they have a second tank, it can be quite annoying to kind of chew through as Jhin.
right now Poppy, if I think she's most like right now, if I'm looking at it, I think it's most likely going to be in the jungle. It's going to be very hard for Ragnarok to really engage onto them if they just have the Sejuani, because Poppy, all she has to do is just turn on W, and it stops Sejuani's dash in, and she can't really frontline for her team. So I think right now Ragnarok is at the mercy of their poke.
Yeah, that poke is going to be pretty important. Poppy might not be able to shove people because there's not really a lot of dashes, but there still might be a good setup if they get some vision and they can get that pinch. Not to mention, Poppy's hammer could maybe potentially take out like a Fed Victor out of this fight, giving them a number advantage on the side of SKO and maybe securing the fight that way.
Absolutely. And yeah, we're going to be seeing that Jhin pickup. So that's a good call on that, sir. So right now, if you had, I think this is going to be a top lane pick, last pick, just because you want to be able to counter pick here. But there's going to be an Ashe support possibly coming out of SKO.
Ashe support, a lot of Freljord lovers. I've seen at least one or two every time I've been able to cast at all. People have really been liking this Ashe support. A lot of vision to be had and the slow. And don't forget about that ultimate cooldown. If you're able to get some early CDR on her, it's going to be up like every 30 seconds.
Gangplank, let's go. My baby boy. Let's see it. Oh, I'm excited. I'm super excited now. Obviously, I was excited before, but I love Gangplank. I cannot confirm nor deny the mural I have in my room dedicated to the champion, but I'm excited.
Yeah, and I have to point out here that Jhin was the fourth pick as well, really going thematically in with his kit. You having your Gangplank main and me having my Jhin main on the enemy team. We'll have to see which caster ends up winning here. Looks like we're going to be having an Olaf not caring about Poppy CC or Ashes. Or it's going to be a Yona. I have spoken too soon. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of space control for a Ragnarok Loki.
So right now, looking at these lanes and just looking at all these champions, what do you think the win con is for Loki?
For Loki, getting this Victor or Yone ahead is going to be a lot of damage that they might not be able to deal with. If they're able to get some of this vision set up for objectives early, they'll really be able to control how this match goes, and SKO will be at the mercy of their tempo.
So scaling into this, I am excited to see SKO. I think they have the potential to be going late here. You have the Zero, you have the Caitlyn, you have the Gangplank. Those champions can go late very easily here. But Poppy might be in a little bit of an awkward position because some of her best runes right now are Dark Harvest and Phase Rush out of the jungle. But then with those runes, it's definitely kind of hard to go tank. So I'm curious to see what the Poppy is going to be building for items and the keystone that she's going to be taking.
Yeah, we'll have to see. She might be taking a bit of abuse for her team, dying for the cause. Hopefully SKO can really secure some of the kills out of there, or at least exert some pressure. I mentioned that Ragnarok Loki has a decent amount of poke with Victor, Karma, some Jhin as well, but we can't forget that Caitlyn trap setup plus Ashe W and Gangplank barrels also are going to be doing a lot of damage if they get the setup, and especially if Gangplank gets 13, where his passive is a lot easier to get those barrel combos off.
Absolutely. So looking at these two junglers here, you have Sejuani, you have Poppy. What jungler do you think is going to kind of have the edge here for taking some of these earlier objectives or creating that early tempo?
I suspect that Poppy might have a little bit better of a clear here and able to really secure how some of this stuff goes. Not to mention, you have to think about what kind of lanes there are to gank. Victor is fairly immobile, and his gravity field isn't that amazing until it ends up getting upgraded, which is not one of the first things you're going to be upgrading as Major Laser here. So there's a potential to do that. It's going to be a little bit harder for them to gank Karma or Jin, and Yone is kind of slippery as well, but it's not like Sej has too much better of an option. With Gangplank, you have your CC clear, Ash, you can just slow you into oblivion, and Azir can just kind of shuffle away. So it might just be clear and see which lanes kind of get prio and maybe fight over that objective.
So right now, I think as Sejuani, you might want to be ganking top here because Gangplank, obviously in the early game, lacks the ability to. It just doesn't have any dashes. Obviously, can orange out of the stun, but right now you have Yone knockup, you have Sejuani knockup with her Q, and the E is going to be the only stun there. But for the most part, you're just going to be slowing Gangplank into oblivion, and this is going to be very hard if he ever shoves up.
Not to mention, Yone is melee, able to stack Sejuani's stacks to get that
Exactly.
stun in there as well. It's going to be a difficult choice to see how much abuse he can take before he can cleanse some of that CC and walk away.
Also, I think this top lane is going to be very dependent on what keystone Gangplank takes, because Yone's obviously is going to be going Conqueror or for lethal tempo. I highly doubt him going something else, but Gangplank, you have the option of going Grasp or First Strike. I think both are viable in this matchup, but First Strike requires a lot more just kind of spatial awareness, where you have to play this spacing very, very precisely, or otherwise you can very quickly die to Yone, versus Grasp, where you can kind of play out some of these fights for a little bit longer and take a little bit more abuse and give a little bit more abuse.
Yeah, I would maybe guess First Strike here. Gangplanks tend to like their money. And, Grasp, he's not going to be too much of a tank, and he kind of wants to get some of that burst damage off on some of their squishier targets. But that's just my guess. I could be completely wrong here. I am not a Gangplank main or a top main for sure.
All right, that'll be our pregame analysis for now, and we are going to be right back with the action. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back into the action here, and we're going to be seeing a possible invade here from SKO, but that's going to be sought out by Loki here.
Yeah, it looks like a standard 5-point-ish out of REL for the Loki. We'll have to see if they end up catching the Jin or not. It looks like Kratos is able to walk away.
All right.
Getting some
Hey,
poke.
they got the 20 gold.
They got the 20 gold. More importantly, Nightmare was able to get that ward, so they're going to be able to see where the jungler is going to be starting and work on that information to see exactly how things are going to line up.
So right now, out of the top line, we have Gangplank with Doran's Blade, and we have the refill pot. So I think there's going to be a lot more action-packed out of the top lane versus the corrupting pot. So I think we're going to be seeing Gangplank trying to get an early kill or push for an early Sheen so they can get the teleport back off.
Yeah, an early Sheen certainly feels good on Gangplank. It's a good item where you get a lot of money out of it. I know whenever I end up playing Ezreal, that early Sheen also feels pretty significant as well. Looks like we're just kind of trying to play for wave here. Bot lane trying to fight for level 2 and fighting for push in the mid lane. Looks like it's being won by Shibiro. All right, and we're getting a pretty standard full clear out of Poppy, or I should say Nightmare and Atlas. Although this might be turning into a possible gank topside onto the Gangplank, kind of what Verdant was predicting here, trying to get some of his early sums or possibly a kill on Yone. It's a very volatile top lane matchup. Notably, Yone is down by 10 CS already, kind of getting zoned out in this ranged versus melee matchup. And we're already seeing a gank happening here at 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Right now, Ninja's trying to get away as best he can. He gets the flash away, but he's going to get caught onto that stun, and Atlas is going to be getting this pickup on to the Gangplank.
Yeah, we still got a flash out of Atlas, so flash for flash, but more importantly, that's first blood, and Yone is able to get some of this CS, and it forces a TP out of Ninja. Otherwise, he might not be getting into lane fast enough, and he might be finding himself with too many minions to handle this early on, not having quite enough damage at level 2 to really get all that wave clear that you want. He is going to be able to spend some of that gold that he had when he got sent back to Fountain, and he's going to be having another longsword here, so potentially more damage to poke out Dusk.
So right now we have and Dusk, who's kind of really under this tower here, but I think he's Gangplank might be able to turn the tables on this lane. But I think the more important one is going to be the mid lane here. Right now we have two heavy scalers with the Azir and the Victor going after each other, but Shiburai is going to be low on the mana here, low on mana here. So there's going to be a little bit of a tough lane.
Low in mana. Both want to get this lane under so they can get a clean reset, not give their enemy laner a TP advantage so that they can really plan on scaling more. A slight edge is going over to the Azir here with having a little bit more mana. No, it was Azir has a little less mana. My apologies.
And so with this, we are then going to be seeing a possible invade here from the Sejuani, or she might be trying to weasel her way top to try to get another gank off onto Ninja in the top lane.
Looks like it's going to be caught on this ward here, so Ninja's going to be able to play safe unless they're able to tower dive this early, which I don't suspect is going to be the thing, getting caught on vision. We saw Kate and Ashe trying to push up for some vision, trying to catch Atlas. No guarantee there. Oh,
that's going to be coming in with that dash, and right now Ninja's going to be trying to get out best they can, but Perpetual is going to be picking up the kill on the top side here. Will Nightmare be able to stop these backs? The shield stops it, but Kratos able to get some of the damage back. Now they get the double root on this. Is Kratos able to get this kill? That's going to be Ignite coming out of Kayaki, and Kayaki is going to be getting that pickup there and getting double buffs here in this bot lane.
Yeah, blue buff on Karma. They're a little bit mana hungry, but you get them blue buff and a little extra damage from the red buff burn. That's going to make things kind of difficult for Caitlyn. Don't forget, though, she does have a Noon Quiver 3-pot right now and a 20 CS lead on Kritis. So it's going to be a bit of damage here. Only him having a double long sword.
Ooh, that's going to be the nice Remo shuffle here. Valkyrie looking kind of low here. Going to be trying to run away to Atlas and then possibly looking to turn the situation. It's going to be running past it. Right now, Shibari is getting all this damage off. Valkyrie is getting quite low. Now you have Koyaki coming in here as well. Shibari might be caught out here in that play. But it looks like he's going to be getting the Shrima dash out.
Yeah, he's able to get some of that poke off. Being able to poke the jungler off or the mid laner, able to get some of this pressure here mid lane is always a good thing. Securing a nice 10 CS lead for his extra scaling.
So the thing to note there was Azir had to use flash to get out, not the dash. So I had misspoken on that.
Well, there's a lot of volatile matchups right now with top, mid, and bot, so this gold lead is very even right now, but the moment it starts tipping its scales the other way, we could be seeing some devastating results.
Duska's 6 right now and could use ultimate, and Ninja's trying to trade back as much damage as possible, but the shield is kind of brutal in that sense, where the Q and the passive proc coming out of GP is not going to matter as much. But Perpetual might be setting up a freeze on the top side. In the meanwhile, SKO is going to be picking up this dragon.
Yeah, this first wind dragon, you know, that's slow. That's being provided by some of these champions. It's going to be a little bit negated by a little bit. And the extra global gold is going to be kind of nice. It's still fairly even, only sitting at a 500 to 400 gold difference. Still anyone's game to be sure. And it looks like Kritis is trying to get a nice back here. We'll have to see if Jinx here is able to get a freeze or not.
So right now you have the level 6 on to Kritos. Do you want to use the curtain call just to get that extra damage in lane and not really go for the kill? Or is that just a waste of an ultimate?
You certainly can use it to poke and chunk your laning opponent out to stop the push. And it does have a decent wave clear. There's a top Jhin player who I not like as in top, as in number 1, as in top lane.
But the position.
Who uses it, yeah, like as in the position, who uses it to clear wave and kind of get his farm away and stay safe.
Nice Shrima shuffle into Nightmare. Nightmare is going to instantly slam him into the wall. Right now, Atlas is trying to come up and help as best he can, but he's going to get knocked up right now. He's going to be chunked out to about 66% health there. And that was really well played by SKO. Getting that Shrima shuffle into that slam, well played by them.
Yeah, very well there. This is going to be a potential rift in response unless Atlas is able to steal with Dusk here. They both do have a pretty decent gold lead in terms of what they have on their character. So there's a chance they're able to do this, but it looks like SKO Kane is going to be able to roam over here and give them the numbers advantage they need to really secure this rift. First Rift Herald, of course, being a decent chunk of gold.
Right now, that's going to be ultimate coming out of Dusk here, going all in on to Kane. Kane going to be falling down quickly here, but now it's going to be a 3v2. Is Gangplank able to find any angle? He's not going to, and that's just going to be a quick separation. So, able to get Shelly, but you have to trade support for that. But Jinx is going to be laying in the business to Kritos here. He's going to be getting close. Maybe the heal might save him, but no, Kritos is going to be falling to Jinx here.
Yeah, that was very well played. That's one of the issues you have if you push too far into a Caitlyn. They just kind of walk you down lane. That early boots really does make a difference, not just for getting your passive stacked, but the movement speed to kind of weave those autos in and out. And don't forget, you can never miss with that ultimate, and it's very good at chunking people out.
So right now, Gangplank trying to shove this under and get a back off here, but you also have Atlas coming towards the top side, so this could spell disaster here for Ninja.
It could, but we got to remember Ione's ult is down, so he's not able to all in because he was doing that at Rift Herald. It doesn't matter too much because Atlas is here to hover, making him forced to be backed off even though he was caught on a ward.
So right now, Jinx and Kayn are getting really close to taking this bot lane tower, being able to rotate this lead to the rest of the map here.
Yeah,
It's going to be
Caitlyn
interesting to
wants
see
to.
who do it.
Yeah, Caitlyn really wants to shove, get those plates early on as a lane bully. And this could be moving into mid lane. They might be able to deal with Vel'Koraz, Victor with the gold lead that they have, sitting at 102 CS at 10 minutes. Very well farmed and a kill on top of that. Bot lane hasn't been super boring, not as action packed as top, where the tent has been pitched. But we'll see where they roam. It looks like it's going to be ending up to be mid here.
So it seems that Koyaki has just kind of tried to make a lot of these roams to help out the mid lane, because we've seen a lot of successful Shreema shuffles onto Valkyrie. But right now, this might be turning into a fight here. Right now, Kayn trying to get as much vision as possible. Atlas jumping in onto Kayn. They're trying to get some of the damage back, but Kayn's going to be going down pretty quickly. Shiburai is looking in trouble. Nightmare's going to have to flash up the wall, and that's going to be a double kill for the side of Loki.
Yeah, Loki played that very well there. Jin being nowhere near the enemy team, able to get a successful root off with his W, and then follow that up with a curtain call, dealing a good chunk of damage and clearing the mid laner, evening out a little bit more of this gold lead. Even though it's 2-6, don't be deceived. 800 gold is on the side of SKO, scaling up a little bit more and getting some potential vision here for Dragon.
Right now, Dusk and Ninja just trading in this damage to each other. But it seems that Dusk is going to be taking the slight advantage on that, just because the shield's going to be able to help him out, and oranges are only up every, I believe, about 20 seconds early on in this game. But they're able to drop the Shelly mid, get these double turret plating. They're going to be sharing that across 3 different players here. So not as much as value as you'd like onto a single person, but still value nonetheless.
Yeah, first tower is first tower, and it is mid, so they're able to exert a lot of pressure and rotate that mid play into a nice, successful Dragon. Ocean Soul is going to help them keep their mana bar healthy and their HP bar healthy, able to get a little bit more poke out of this as well. We'll have to see what soul it is. It looks like it's going to be Hextech Soul, based on what I'm seeing. The client is a little bugged for the newer Dragons.
Kayn coming in and throwing the R in downtown, but is going to be missing that pickup. Atlas now is going to be in the brush here. Might be looking for this jump on, but the Hawkeye going to be spotting him out here. Kayn going to be walking up here to Atlas. He's trying to get some of the slows off.
Yeah, a lot of pressure is going to be had here mid, trying to seize it out, maybe try and get this beforehand, but it looks like Kayn is going to get caught out here.
That's a nice juke by Kayn there.
Yeah, Jin's W is very thin, but when it lands, it is a long route, scaling up throughout at skill points. Sitting, I think, at a max of like 2.25.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that long.
It starts at like 1 or a quarter, and you get like a quarter second per skill point.
Damn. So now we're going to be seeing kind of more of this volatile top lane matchup. Ooh, we're going to be getting the barrel in. Right now, he's going to be flashing in, getting the damage off onto Dusk. Is the true damage going to be getting there from the side of R from the Gangplank? Misplaced towards the tower. Didn't go onto his callback area. And that's going to be a pickup on from Dusk onto Ninja there.
One of the important things to know about Dusk's build here is he only really needs 2 items for his big power spike because of how a Yone operates. But Gangplank needs a little bit more items to fully get his damage out. Of course, Essence Reaver into Double Cloak is a lot of damage, but is it as much damage as a potential first Mythic into IE? I don't think so.
So with the new Navori update, Gangplank can actually start really popping off with just the Essence Reaver and the Navori. But ooh, the ultimate coming out from Kayn, trying to come in from downtown. There's going to be more damage onto Kritos with the Caitlyn ultimate. Was unable to pick him up, and now he's going to be very low in the mid lane here. Now they're trying to push up for a vision line here. Atlas going to be diving in onto Jinx, but Jinx is going to be flashing away from it. Nightmare trying to get on out here. It's going to be getting poked down a little bit, but not much more is going to be happening here. But it appears that SKO is really wanting to take these early towers. They're going for a lot of these early objectives. They got Shelly, they got Double Drake, they got now all all three of the outer towers of Loki.
Top tower is still sitting
I
here for
misspoke.
Dust. However, they do seem to be getting this second Rift Herald. Not going to be as much value as the first one, of course. No plates are up to take, but top tower is still sitting here alone by the exiled half-brothers. We'll have to see if they go for that or if they end up trying to get pressure elsewhere on the map, making it even harder for Loki to get back in.
So right now, SKO is like, it would appear that they are down obviously in kill wise, but they're up in gold because they've taken a lot of the standing gold off the map. Also, GP creates his own money from thin air. How do you really turn this around for the side of Loki?
I think you need to really play some of these power spikes a little bit more because you're able to get some of these earlier ones with Yone. You have a pretty good gold lead here. Like, Yone with 3 kills is very strong. So if you're able to utilize this pick and really get some of this damage done and perhaps maybe even stop some of the scaling, that's how you're going to do it. Also, if some of these earlier picks would have worked out like we saw with Atlas hovering over by Raptor's pit, trying to catch out one of their team members and go for a kill there, that also would have been a good contender to really set them back into this game, getting some more kills, and that could have been a potential tower they could have pushed for as well.
So right now we have the Dragon coming up here in a minute. I think this is going to be a very crucial objective to kind of see how the rest of this game will play out.
Not to mention, Yone's TP might not be up in time for this Dragon. Dragon's going to be coming up in about 40 seconds, so it's getting kind of close there. A lot of summoners are down on both times. Kritis is down, so he's going to have to play this very safe. Ninja's flash is down. Jinx's flash is down, and we don't have the TP on Shabirl as well.
I think we're going to see what Atlas has been doing a lot of this game so far. He's going to be diving in onto Kane and throwing that ultimate into him, and they're going to be bursting him out. That's my prediction here, but we're going to be seeing if that's going to be coming into fruition.
Yeah, there's a lot of chances for burst here. It looks like Valkyrie is kind of 1v1ing Ninja here. We'll have to see if they're able to kind of shove them under, get the wave prio, and then get a better TP over Ninja.
So that's going to be a Shelly drop into the mid lane, forcing Loki away from that area. But right now, they're going to be kitting out Kritos, and they're going to be trading ninjas on the top side of the map, but they're going to be most likely getting this tower in the mid lane, and now Atlas is going to be roaming in from behind here with the rest of the team. They're going to be getting the second hit off of the Shelly here. They might be able to get, that T3 is going to be going down. Extra damage going in on that mid lane. They're going to be jumping in, but that's going to be stopped from Nightmare. They're going to be getting the damage off onto Jinx here, but now Shibari in a bad spot. They get the Shurima Shuffle. Atlas going over the wall. Atlas is trying to get out the best they can, but he's going to be falling to Nightmare here, and Kane's going to be flashing in, trying to go for some extra damage here. The inhib is almost down with the extra Shelly hit, and that's going to be going down as well. And now they can rotate this over to the Dragon.
Yeah, Shelly's able to even get some autos in there despite her low health. But with the numbers advantage, it's going to be difficult to take Dragons. A lot of resources were expended, several ultimates to name some, but they should be able to take this just fine. It's very difficult to walk in with Caitlyn traps being in the way, although we're going to be seeing a TP and a possible collapse. Not to mention a curtain call.
It's going to be TP out of Yone here. He's going to be trying to possibly dive onto that team, but now Dragon's at half health. Does Gangplank TP in here? Yes, he does. That's going to be a Gangplank ultimate. Koyaki's going to be going down right away. Shibari's getting chunked out to half health here. Atlas going to be coming in from the sideline. Is he able to find a pickup here? Shibari might be grabbed here. Ooh, nothing's happening yet. They're just going to be poking out.
Yeah, wait for the Dragon to do some damage here. We might see what they did for Rift Herald. Let them take the objective, expend their resources and their damage, and then turn on them the moment that objective falls. It looks like they're not falling for it, though. Bouncing the aggro back and forth. Ooh. And just poking them out so they can't re-engage.
Nightmare's going to be getting the pop onto the wall. The Dusk is going to be shoved back. He's going to be popping the bow. Right now, he's going to be diving in onto Kane. Kane's getting low here. Atlas is going to be falling. That's the Shurima Shuffle onto Atlas here. And now Valkyrie's going to be the only one kind of get away from that fight. He's going to be dodging that play on the top side, but he's going to be falling down. Right now, Nightmare's trying to just stop the re-engage, but they're getting the damage onto Koyaki here. Kritos is most likely going to be falling here. going to be falling to Nightmare, and that is going to be the only survivor being Koyaki here.
Not to mention, Midwave has fully crashed over to the enemy Nexus towers. That's a lot. Plus, this is going to be Soul Point. Don't forget we're at a 6K gold lead. SKO has been able to execute this game plan very well. They played that dance very well, forcing Loki to try and re-engage if they wanted any hope of getting a resemblance back into this game. And them failing there might be lights out unless they can get this pick and really utilize the Baron resistance shred that it naturally has.
So you had that, you had the 300 gold shutdown onto Yon go over to Caitlyn, I believe. Actually, no, it went over to the Azir there. So that's going to be strong for him to kind of further scale into this game.
Yeah, we're sitting at a 2-item power spike for Azir. Caitlyn already having 2 as well, not going for the IE, going for the range instead.
That's going to be a grab from Nightmare onto Dusk here. He's going to be getting quite low, and Atlas is going to be able to get the pickup onto Jinx here. Now that's going to be a pickup onto Kayn as well, and that's going to be 3 dead from the side of SKO. This looks to be a little bit of a Nightmare situation. Right now, Atlas is going to be coming in from behind here. Right now, Shiburai and Nightmare together. That's going to be a double dash away from Shiburai. Right now, Nightmare trying to get away with their life. Is going to be getting the extra damage coming out from Shiburai, getting Valkyrie low, but now Atlas is going to be then changing that over to Shiburai. Is he going to be able to find the kill here? It is not going to be. But right now, they're going to be playing for the poke. Right now, Shiburai poking them out this much is possibly going to stop them from going on this Baron here. So that was really good awareness from him.
Oh, we're getting a flash over by Nightmare, making sure no one gets some of these backs off.
Uh-oh. Nightmare getting low here. Atlas is going to be picking up Shiburai, but Nightmare is going to then be picking up Kabuki here and Koyaki. But now, with the teams as low as they are, this might be an easy Baron for the side of SKO.
Yeah, the death timers they're playing out, stopping the back timers, keeping them low, was very well played by SKO. They're able to pressure this Baron here, and a lot of Loki's resources were expended. The only ultimates being up being Valkyrage and Dusk's. Looks like they're going to be going for a pick here.
Perpetual unable to find any of the pickups. That's going to be falling down to Ninja here. Right now, Nightmare trying to get some knockups is then going to be falling to Kritos here. Right now, they're trying to get as much damage as Valkyrie's going to be getting the pickup. Right now, it's just Jinx and Kayn trying to see if they can get a pickup onto Atlas, Kritos, and Valkyrie. This is going to probably be a poke war here, and Kayn's going to be throwing in a lot of these volleys. Right now, there's going to be a dash in from Atlas. It's going to be instantly grabbing Kayn. He's going to be falling down quite quickly there.
Yeah, Kritos' 4th shot really getting some damage in on Nightmare. Getting a nice shutdown there as well. Hopefully finishing out his 2nd item, which looks to be a potential IE here with the BF sword and pickaxe. A lot of damage to be had. I have to point out right now how volatile this Ashe pickup is. SKO Kayn sitting at a 70 vision score at 23 minutes surely is helping them win this game.
Absolutely. The only downside I've seen to Kayn being on Ashe so far is almost every single time he's like walked up to throw like a W volley, like half the time I would say, Atlas has then just dashed in, thrown an ultimate on him, and just dumped the damage, and then they just dump the damage onto her. She dies quickly. However, they spend a lot of resources to do so, and then they kind of tend to win the rest of the fight from the SKO then wins the fight from there.
Yeah, when your team is there to back up your support and avenge your death, all of that damage went to killing a support rather than some of their main damages. For example, Ninja or even Sabiro with Azir, who's been doing a lot of damage with his poke, with his double item. That claims team fights. Especially when you don't have your lockdown with Sejuani. Now we'll have to see if they end up getting Soul here. It's going to be coming up here in roughly 50 seconds. A lot of plays being set up. We're seeing Caitlyn put down some traps.
Ooh, that's going to be pick up from Kayn from downtown. That's going to be a Gangplank ultimate coming in. Koyaki is going to be living with barely any health. That's going to be Dusk TP from the sideline, but now you have another TP coming in as well, but Atlas is going to be going down.
Yeah, the mere pressure of Soul coming up has really been forcing these fights out mid lane, which has enabled SKO to really just capitalize on this. Loki has to win some of these engage fights, or it's going to be lights out for them.
Right now, this Baron call is going to be coming down to the wire here. Dusk trying to dive into the backline. The curtain call coming out, unable to get unable to find any pickups here. But now there's just going to be another poke battle here, trying to get some of these volleys coming out from Kane here, trying to spot him on the hawk shots. And I think they're just going to be breaking it up. And now they're going to be looking to possibly go for a dragon play. I think that Loki's in a much better spot to go for this dragon.
Yeah, very disciplined play coming here out of both teams, knowing when to start and stop these dragon fights, knowing when to start and stop these Baron fights as well, has really stopped this from turning into a full slaughter fest.
Uh-oh. The damage coming through. Who's going to be getting that smite off? And Poppy's going to be picking that up, and that's Soul. And that's going to be Hex Tech for the side of SKO. Nightmare able to pick that up with a flash, but Nightmare's going to then die in return for that. Kane's going to be getting out with a sliver of health, and so is Shuburai.
Yeah, if you thought that SKO Kane's Ash was going to have a lot of slow, wait until you slap down a Hex Soul on there, getting an additional slow. Don't forget about the auto attacks for even more auto attacks, for even more slows. It's going to hurt with Umbral Glaive as well. It's not something I look forward to fighting whenever I see it. There's a high win rate with Hex Soul.
So, as you were kind of mentioning earlier, they went for the RFC into the IE on the Caitlyn. Do you think that's going to be enough damage to deal with the Sejuani?
Yeah, I think it's going to be enough damage to deal with the Sejuani.
They are coming in from Kane from downtown. That's going to be an ultimate coming out of Atlas. That's going to be a Shurima Shuffle pushing the team back. Right now, Valkyrie's very low. That's going to be Stopwatch coming out of Shiburai. Are they going to be able to pop them right away? Right now, they're just going to be getting flashes away. Atlas is getting low here, unable to get over the wall. Kane's going to get the pickup. And now this is going to be an uncontested Baron. You have the curtain call coming out from the Jhin here, but that's going to be a smite from Nightmare onto this Baron.
Yeah, Caitlyn now hit level 13, getting the max out of her passive for even more damage. But it's not necessarily her job to take out Atlas. We have some good peel already with Leandre's.
Ooh, right now, Nightmare is going to be finding the pickup onto Dusk, slamming him with the hammer.
Yeah, falling asleep, really facing the nightmares, not getting a good night's rest. Hopefully he'll get woken up by Fountain in time for his Nexus to be alive and defend this last remaining tower while this inhib falls.
It's right there. We saw Jinx picking up the Kratos with the R. I think that was near max damage there. So now we have 3 members alive on Loki. Are they going to be able to hold in time for Kratos to be coming back up along with Dusk?
Yeah, it's really important whenever you're being sieged like this as a carry to just live. You're gonna have to give. You can't do some of these fancy 1v1 plays. Not that we've been
Kane
seeing
going to be
it.
getting the pickup from downtown. That is the mist on the Shurima Shuffle. But now they're going to be trying to get back in a way, try to see if they can get up and have Dusk and Atlas up in time. And right now, that's going to be game.
That's gonna be game. Yeah. As I was saying, as a carry, you can't be dying super early or first in these team fights. Or when your base is under attack, you have to be able to put out that damage, put out the wave clear. If you're down, it's very hard, creates a lot of pressure in their team to enact, and they'll end up getting picked off just like we saw there.
All right. Looking at that game, who do you think was the MVP?
MVP, you know, I have to give it to the support. SKO Kane, they were baiting out a lot of damage, a lot of CC. They got 101 vision at 28 minutes. We're talking 4 to 5-ish vision a minute, which is very potent for the team and enables a lot of the play and counter plays. Don't forget about the objective setup that they were able to give.
All right, and that'll be it for our discussion for this game. We're going to be getting ready for the next one, so we will be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am back with Abbatrombone. Say hi, Abba.
Hello, how's it going? Looks like we're here for game 3 of SKO versus Ragnarok Loki.
So right now we're going to be seeing the Nami snap ban coming out again, and we aren't switching sides at all this entire set, so that makes it easier for us.
Yeah, it
So
looks like they're getting this Irelia. They were playing for topside earlier, and they can be pretty potent, a little bit faster than Yone, so it definitely makes sense that it's getting banned.
right now we see the Nami into Kindred. Hey, and we're keeping the bans very consistent this set so far. Do you think that last game is going to facilitate, or sorry, require a change of bans in the second round, or do you think it's going to be staying quite similar?
I don't think it necessarily necessitates it. It was all about how that vision went up earlier. I could see potentially an Ashe ban. The Caitlyn ban as well does make some sense. Very oppressive in lane and was able to bully out Kritis from being able to get a lot of farm.
So right now, we're gonna be. I think it's gonna be interesting to see the prio pick from SKO, because in the game 1 that no one saw, we had Caitlyn first pick. But in game 2, we also had the Caitlyn. So I'm curious as to what their prio pick is gonna be now.
Well, we'll have to see.
Ooh.
Ooh, a potential Sejuani. It could be a flex pick for jungle or for top. Probably more likely to be jungle based on the gameplay we've been seeing, but I've been wrong before.
Ooh. Right now, both teams are kind of declaring in a way that we want to see some team fight here if they go with the fiddlesticks.
Yeah, going in with team fight tactics, if that's going to be the case. Or a Teemo. I have not seen Teemo at this level of play. It will be very interesting to see how that's different.
Yeah,
Pick it. Zach, yeah.
I don't think we're ever going to legitimately see a Warwick or a Teemo ever, like at this echelon.
Hey, you never know. You never know. There's
You're
always
right.
a chance.
But we're going to be seeing Gumby coming out of the side of Ragnarok Loki here.
Yeah, going to be jumping out. If he's able to execute some of these over-the-wall ganks like before, there's a lot of threat to be had. There's going to be a lot of healing coming out of Zac and Soraka for sure, and it's going to be a decent amount of peel. If you try to go in, Soraka's going to immediately silence with the E. Or are we going to be going for more protect the carry, or more aggressive with Draven here? Several potential picks coming out of here.
I'm partial to Kog'Maw here. Ooh.
Oh,
that's gonna be Sivir. Okay.
This is gonna help Sejuani get a little bit more of that engage. The faster movement speed is always helpful. Might be able to be enough to duck in and out of Zac's range. Nautilus being able to seal people down if they end up going for that pick. Or Alistar doing a relatively the same function.
Twitch rotation. That is brutal with his roams, but I don't know how that does against the Raka pick here. That's going to be Sona.
Very interesting. Typically, when you have more of a sustain lane, kill lanes are able to kill it, which is why you might be picking a Draven here. Draven is very strong right now. He pumps out a lot of damage and is kind of liking some of these changes. We'll have to see how well he ends up pairing with the Soraka, able to get a lot of these healthy trades, chunk the enemy out, get fully healed by Soraka, and pressure the lane that way. They might be going for a bot lane centric win here rather than top, rotating their game style.
Right now, they're going to be banning out of Zera. We saw that last game. We didn't like that. We don't want to see that Victor as well. So we're going to be seeing new mid laners here. We might be seeing an Asol pick up again.
Yeah, potential Asol, very strong right now. Whenever I've seen him, the side that's picked, Asol has ended up winning, but we'll have to see if that's the rule or the exception.
So right now, I think also a good mid lane pick would be the Annie. Last I saw, with a 13.3 drop, she had like a 55.7% win rate. So I think that would be really, really strong here. But that's going to be a possible Cinder ban here from SKO. So we don't want any of these artillery mages. Get them out. That's going to be
there's
instant
the Annie.
Annie. Yeah, there it is.
Can you take that band back? Coming out in the client, a beautiful thing to see when you ban out a planned pick for the team, having to readjust their composition.
Talia's a fairly decent artillery mage. Also can kind of craft out some of these battlegrounds here.
Yeah, creating a good wall. Zach, of course, can hop back and forth. Or Cassiopeia, another one of your favorites here, Verdant. A
Oh,
good chunk of
geez.
damage, good scaling. You're being spoiled this set.
Absolutely, and I am enjoying it. But you gotta love the Snake Lady. You just do. It's going to be very, very hard for Sejuani to really get in onto this team. The miasma is going to be absolutely brutal for her here, but possible Yasuo pickup here. It's going to be very interesting to see what they have, but it's going to be a Yone grab. I think this Yone's most likely going to be going into the mid lane against Cassio. Ooh, this is some really big team fight ultimates here coming out of the side of SKO.
Yeah, Sejuani's going to be able to lock one target down. Kennan's going to be able to go in and steal people down. And then you have Yone to follow up, or Sona potentially. Oh, we might not be going for Cannon here, but it looks like to be some sort of AP champion that SKO is going to be looking out for to really seal in the damage.
Oh,
Where I
geez.
misspeak again, and it's going to be an Aatrox. I clearly can't be speaking what they're going to be picking until the very last second, making some big choices here.
So with Cassio these days, she could be flexed to her for top or mid. Right now, I believe if the Malphite is to be picked, that's going to be going into the top lane against the Aatrox here.
Yeah, or possibly matching wherever the Yone is going. Cassiopeia would be able to move in and out of Aatrox's threat range, possibly, and stop the dash. But that might not be the case here with the Camille pick.
We're going to see a volatile top lane. I'm excited to see this. Okay, yeah. So instant snap pick. What are you thinking? What is the win con of Loki here?
Loki
right now, we lost the last two. How do we really bring it back this last game?
They weren't able to secure a lot of those team fights, partly because of the gold lead later, but it was kind of even, and they weren't able to get some of these wins. However, they were able to get some very good picks on SKO, taking some of their vulnerability. Maybe if they get this Camille ahead, they can say, you know what, you can have your team fight. We're going to pressure you by split pushing here. Camille does a lot of damage to turrets and can duel pretty well. So if they're sending one or two people to deal with her, that could be what they need for Zach to jump in and take some kills and hand over that gold to Draven's ego, making it the League of Draven.
So I think that's an important thing to note. For the bot lane, this is going to be a little bit rough for the side of SKO. Like, Draven's able to throw in a lot of these axes, and you're not really able to use the Sivir kind of mana shield to eat a lot of the damage coming through from the Draven. The only thing you can stop is the whirling axes, or not. Sorry, what is the E called for Draven? I'm forgetting the name of that.
I call it the no button personally. Don't forget, you are able to stop some of Soraka's poke with her star call, I believe. And if you can predict the E coming out, you can technically block that as well, although you'd have to be a little bit lucky there because it's kind of instant.
So an important thing to note with the rocket with Star Call coming down, you can eat the damage proc with the spell shield on Sivir. However, the healing component still goes through with that for the Raka.
Yeah, Sona's going to be able to get a lot of poke in, but they're going to have a decent amount of sustain. If they're able to get down Soraka, it's kind of tricky because a Draven's still alive, hitting you with his axes and his ego, doing a lot of damage. It makes it a more difficult lane to deal with, but if you have a numbers advantage, you certainly can do it. Or if you're able to pop down Draven and Soraka isn't able to peel away the enemy, certainly that is a loss there as well if you get a good pick setup.
So right now, I think an important thing to note about the mid lane is that Cassio and Yone, this is going to be very much skill dependent. Because if Yone commits everything and just fully dives in at Cassio, if she catches him with the miasma at the end of his third Q dash, she's going to put him in a really bad spot where he can't react to anything. He can't reactivate his E to use the unstoppable proc there. So this is going to be have to be very carefully calculated by the Yone, but I think he has a chance to beat this Cassio here.
Certainly, there's a good chance in there. It might be some more short fights. Otherwise, if you get stuck in that miasma, you're going to be chased down with QEEEEE, cutting out half a Rise's combo instead of QE. You just get to press E a bunch.
I think that I think that's actually fairly close to what the combo is. I think you might splash in a W, maybe an auto if you are so inclined. I think that's fairly close to how it's going to be playing out.
A
But
lot of volatile matchups here, of course, as you highlighted with Cassio and Yone, Aatrox and Camille, and then of course the Draven and Sivir. Sivir's going to scale a little bit better if she's able to not die in lane. I'm partial to see if we see SKO Kane's vision to be as high as it was with the Ashe, or if we're going to get a bit of a deflation with, with the pick.
I think it will go down just because Kane won't have the Umbral Glaive to go with it anymore. And also, I don't know if you go Zombie Ward on Sona as well. And the Hawk Shot also adds to that vision score. So I think just those three aspects are going to be lowering the overall vision score. I don't think it's going to like dramatically fall off the face of the earth. However, I think it will be. I'm guessing. This is my guess. I think it might be 20 lower by the end of the game.
I'm still expecting it to be kind of high for the reasons you highlighted, although they were able to protect a lot of control wards and get a lot of value off of those as well. It wasn't just Ashe's kit. Of course, that certainly did help get a lot of pressure. There was about a 30 difference, I believe, between the supports. Not that I'm saying the other support on the side of Loki played it poorly, just that it was so high.
Ashe is just quite impressive vision wise. She is just able to cancel out all that vision with the Umbral Glaive, and with the Zombie Ward is then able to replace it immediately. And you're with the Hawkeye, you can kind of throw that out there and really just clear a lot of that vision safely, which I think is very important. Where most supports kind of have to are very scared to run up and check some of those bushes. Ashe just kind of gets the free pick of the litter there, of being able to just walk up and just do it without kind of any rebuttal. But important aspect of the game we have not talked about, the two tanky junglers. Who do you think is going to be finding more of this early tempo, the Zac or the Sejuani?
Well, with how we saw the game play out last time, I'm going to guess that Loki's going to be going for a little bit more pressure from the jungle, trying to get a lead somewhere, using that lead to get some sort of pressure and at least trade objectives on opposite sides of the map or secure some extra kills for some extra money and use that to their advantage.
I think that Shelly might be the focus of the top lane. Because if you kind of, because of how volatile top lane is, if Zac can kind of get the Camille ahead, you could kind of run through all the top lane objectives and have her just be split pushing. So I think it might be a good focus for Loki to be going for a Camille gank.
Yeah, I could certainly be seeing that as well. Aatrox not being as strong until he's able to get some of those items, hit his level 6 for some extra Omnivamp. And like I said before, Camille, really good at 1v1ing, really good at split pushing. And the team fight from Ragnarok Loki hasn't been quite as strong as SKO, although we should probably set to commercial soon just to give ourselves a little bit of a break and exercise the production.
All right, we will be right back in about 30 seconds or so. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back and going to be getting into the action here.
Yeah, it looks like another potential invade out of the side of SKO coming from the bot lane. A classic opener from last game, bleeding into second game. We'll have to see if they get anything more out of this.
So right now, do you think? I don't predict them being able to grab something, but right now, Loki's able to return and get some of that vision onto the top side buff, so they're going to be able to predict where the jungler is going to be going and starting from.
Yeah, knowing where the enemy jungler is going to be, knowing that they're going to be playing for some of these early ganks, that is going to be able to indicate for those laners that they might not be safe. They're gonna have potential gank timers, so they're gonna know when to ward, when to stay safe, and not die, making it harder for Loki to execute their plan.
So right now, their junglers are going to be starting on the top side, on the side of Loki here. So with this game going on here now, we are going to be kind of really. I'm excited to see Kritos and Koyaki versus the side of Kane and Jinx. Jinx has kind of always had like a 20 CS lead, so I think with a more dominant early game champion is going to be really flipping the script here on the bot lane.
For sure, we're seeing a certainly aggressive with an ignite on the Soraka rather than a heal to help amplify their healing, and a cleanse from Kratos trying to mitigate any CC that might have, making the only CC they have in the bot lane from SKO Kane's Sona harder to use.
So if Sona, is she going to be able to really stop a lot of this damage coming in from Kratos, or is her shield just not enough for the early game?
Well, if you're able to get 2 axes going, it's a lot of damage. She, of course, can get a decent amount of poke, but it is fairly mitigated. So it's going to be a trading / kill lane because a Draven warps what the lane wants to do so much. It's usually centralized around the support, but in this case, it might just be a simple trading lane.
But Koyaki going to be hitting 2 for 2 on these Starfalls here. So this is going to be kind of like healing up all the damage coming out of this bot lane for SKO.
Yeah, and it's all going on to Kane because Kane doesn't have any sort of a shield. They only have their small heal, and Kratos is able to get some pushes here, and we're seeing this out of the mid lane too, out of Team Loki as well. That's a lot of prio on every side, meaning Atlas isn't going to have the gank potential they want, but Nightmare is.
Oh, if Dusk was watching, you see that the passive proc coming through, but Nightmare is going to be hopping over the wall. Right now, they're trying to get the stun proc onto Perpetual Dusk here. That is going to be, that's going to be coming in with flash coming in from Nightmare. Perpetual is going to be getting the flash away. They're trying to get the extra damage. That's going to be a flash coming in from Ninja. Are they able to get the pick up here? Who gets it? That's going to be a first blood for Ninja on the top side there. So 2 flashes for the price of 1, but that's going to be first blood. Shiburo is going to be dumping damage into the mid lane, but unable to find anything from there.
Yeah, no TP is going to be needed out at Dusk because of the bounce back that they had set up, which is going to be good. There's a potential dive bot lane for this split map, but it looks like it might not be fast enough for this crash because there's already a potential gank happening mid lane.
So right now you have Jinx, who's pretty high health here, but Shiburo is going to be trying to get some of this damage on Valkyrie. That's going to be a flash out of Valkyrie. Shiburo is trying to get some of the damage off. But now that's going to be a jump in from Atlas. Is going to be getting the pickup. That's going to be a pickup from Kratos onto Kane, getting these adoration stacks, getting that money. That's going to be a flash away from Koyaki, barely avoiding death from the whirling glaives.
Yeah, not even close. 1 HP is more than enough to live. More brawls here, trying to fight over this wave. Dusk getting chunked out here by Ninja. And that's another death. That split push plan might not be working out for them. on the side of Loki, but it might be working here for Unlimited Ninja. If he gets ahead like the way he is, 26 to 11 CS, probably forcing out a TP here as well with 2 kills. That's going to be a lot of gold when he gets back to base suspended, and might be pretty hard to kill. That's a very massive wave we're seeing.
So right now, also, we had good awareness on Nightmare there to really force the Casio to have to use the TP here. So this is kind of really well played by Nightmare so far. But Atlas definitely being able to dive into the bot lane and get these Adoration stacks onto Draven. And he already has the Noon Quiver. He's got boots, and he still has the Doran's Blade versus the Sivir only having the Noon Quiver. So this is definitely a little bit tough for the bot lane.
Yeah, and there's a pretty good stacked wave here as well. That extra pot being eaten and the longsword hasn't quite paid off into the Draven, not quite getting the damage to get a return kill or a kill at all for the 3v2. Does make things a little bit harder, and Boots is going to make it easier for Draven to weave those autos in and out and potentially dodge Sivir's boomerang.
So right now we have objectives up. We have Dragon. Do you think that with the kind of early push advantage that Loki has, that they're going to be getting this Dragon with the split map that's been going on? Or do you think there's going to be more of a focus to go for the Shelly?
I would expect for Atlas to abandon top lane at this point. If you're already down 2 kills, it's hard to gank a losing lane. The damage has already been done, and Unlimited Ninja's winning this laning phase for sure. We might be seeing a 3v3, putting all of our money into Kritis and potentially this Dragon.
So right now, I have Valkyrie able to just dump a lot of damage into Shiburai, and that's going to be pretty rough for him. And a lot of this early laning stage, Casio is holding on to the driver's wheel here for the lane.
Yeah, unfortunately, being down TP, Sabiro is definitely used it here. The problem is, even though you have the push, you're going to get low in mana, and you might not be able to rotate very well for a Dragon play if a long, drawn-out fight happens. It looks like she's going to be able to help, but the bounce back here might make things awkward to where Alice is going to have to really facilitate and hold the wave for a good back. It looks like Kritis is going to be able to help here. Kane having to either stay for the wave or try and contest this Dragon.
So right now, Ninja is just absolutely just giving the business to Dusk here, and is going to be doubling his CS, has 2 kills. This is going to be just a brutal deficit here in this top lane.
Yeah, at 8 minutes, it's not a 10 CS a minute, but a 30 CS lead is a 30 CS lead. Forcing out another TP, holding onto the TP advantage here for some more potential cross-map plays. It's exactly what you want to see out of your top lane.
So right now you have the Aegis on the side of Nightmare versus Zach only having kind of components at this point. Does have a Kindle gem, but I think that Sejuani is going to be a little bit better suited for some of these earlier fights.
For sure, and it looks like Alice is getting poked out here with the roam. We'll have to see if Vel'Karaj is able to stop it. It looks like they're backing off, but this will be a concession towards their own red buff, and this could be very lethal for Dusk with a potential dive setup here. Even though she's level 7 and has her ultimate up, she could be 1v1'd if she's not careful and gets chunked by Ninja.
Also, this bot lane for SKO really has to watch out for themselves here, because Zach with vertical jungling can dive you at any moment. But right now, Dusk is being dove by SKO, but is able to get away from there with Nightmare missing that R.
Yeah, good dodge there. Not dying is exactly what you need to be doing here when you're behind. Giving tower when the enemy is showing a lot of resources being committed there. We'll have to see if there's any sort of cross-map play. It doesn't look like there's a time setting for it because of Kritis' back timer, although it looks like he's staying here, trying to contest the wave, trying to get some more gold because of the enemy pressure.
So right now we're looking at a split map game, but like for the side of SKO, they still have a Sivir who is on par with Draven Farm here. So they're not really taking much of a loss here in the bot lane, but right now a lane gank most likely going to be coming out of Atlas here, but SKO really respecting the enemy bot laners here.
Certainly something to respect. A lane gank is very possible, and we know that Atlas is going to be likely bot. We haven't seen him top or mid anytime soon. We saw him by Raptors, but that's the last time, and we know he took the enemy topside jungle, so it's only natural for him to be bot side. Sivir playing this very safe is exactly what needs to be done. Try not to overextend and getting caught out.
Uh-oh, speaking of getting caught out here, Perpetual is going to be in a world of hurt here with Ninja just dropping these Qs on her.
Already getting an Eclipse, sitting at almost 11 minutes. Very potent, and with a level lead. Forcing another dash out, only having a Sheen and a Longsword.
Four people in the bot lane, but they're going to be catching up Valkyrie here. And I think Valkyrie might show him that the jig is up here, and this Atlas time that he spent here in this bot lane, it might just be all for naught here. That's going to be a 20 CS lead now in the jungle here.
Yeah, 20 CS, it's going to be hard to make up, especially when the other team is ahead.
So right now, Valkyrie and Shiburai are just going to be brawling it out here, but Shiburai is going to be taking out half of Valkyrie's health here. Is going to be slowly healing off of the poison ease in the wave, but right now Shiburai is going to be missing the ultimate, going to be diving under and behind, going to be missing that. But that's going to be a pickup for Shiburai coming in with Glacial Prison from Nightmare. Atlas is going to be trying to get the pullback onto Shiburai here, but is unable to really find any further damage. They're going to be getting these tower plates here, but not needing to do anything further.
Yeah, I know you mentioned the CS gap, but there's also a bit of a level gap. There's already a level difference between the enemy junglers, and you can't forget that 3 people in the bot lane means he was leeching XP off of the Draven and out of Kojiaka.
Ooh, and that's going to be first tower for this Aatrox, and now he is just very much holding the just complete control over this top lane, and he can now start rotating to the rest of the map and really rotating this lead. And now we have a dragon coming up, and Atlas has wanted to play for the bot. Atlas has wanted to play for the bot side of this map, but with Aatrox able to rotate down, he might not be able to get to play the game plan that he wanted to anymore.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to be able to do that. And with the number advantage that they're going to be able to have, Dusk doesn't have TP up. And with these towers being down, we saw some of these invades already happening, but it's going to be a lot more free for them to do it, not having to commit so many resources. And it's going to make it harder for Atlas to get some of that counter jungling, being zoned out of this dragon here. And they kind of wanted this Chemtech Drake with that extra healing.
So I think a thing to note there, also they lost all their vision on the bot side of the map here. I think I saw at least like 5 wards go down. So that's going to be a little bit brutal for the side of Loki here. They're going to be losing a lot of their vision control that they had. And now they might be switching up from a bot, like a vertical jungling sort of game, to now it might be a Nightmare looking at the bot lane and trying to give them some love.
Yeah, Ninja already has all of the gold they need, all of the pressure they need versus this Camille, just kind of waiting for the bounce back and pushing her off the wave. Nightmare knows where Atlas is going to be, and if he just hovers, he'll win these trades. His team is already winning up 4K gold roughly, sitting at 14 minutes in the laning phase. That's a devastating amount. It's a lot harder to throw some of these larger leads, especially in this level of play.
So right now, you're obviously down almost 4K on the side of Loki. How do you come back into this game? A lot of it seemed the early game was to really focus on this Draven, but it's not panning out as much as they would have liked. You only have 1 extra kill, and so a lot of these adoration stacks hasn't got a lot of gold. How do you come back into this?
Well, when you don't have a gold lead, you can always try and get a number lead. You make a concession like they did topside. And this is exactly what Atlas has been able to do. He's been trying to pressure the bot lane, not just to get them farm, but potentially get a kill. If they end up misstepping at any point, that's going to be another kill in the Draven, which is probably what they need for some extra damage. Already getting his Kraken, maybe getting these second tier 2 boots could be enough to really push his damage up to maybe catch out the enemy bot lane.
So is there a world in which you want to possibly start looking to Cassio as the win con, or do you want to still keep looking at this Draven as your win con?
Cassio is certainly a win con to be had as well, and you're able to fluidly move between mid lane or bot lane, or sorry, I should say mid lane or top lane or bot lane between them because of the distance between the lanes. But Cass has been getting caught out as well, so hovering there is fine. It's just a problem with Yone, who's a little bit more slippery than Sivir and Sona.
So right now we might be seeing a dive here into the bot lane, but they have no minions here. So this is not going to be going well for Loki. I think they might want to wait for this minion wave, but now you have Perpetual Dusk going to be trying to come in as well to help augment some of this damage missing.
Yeah, Kritis certainly has enough damage to get this. Dropping the axe there.
They're going to be
Someone's
they're going to be
got
finding Atlas here, and Atlas trying to get as much damage as he can out of it. Soraka are going to be coming on down. Kane's kind of getting low here, but they're going to be taking down Atlas. That's going to be a TP in from Ninja. Ninja is going to be grabbing onto everyone here. This is just nightmare scenario. Krita is going to be falling to Jinx right now. Zach's going to be falling down. That's going to be Atlas killed as well. Tower is going to be killed in the mid lane. Right now, Koyaki trying to run out with their life. Going to be flashing here, getting the Starfall. Is he able to get away? But that's going to be a flash from Ninja. It's going to be a grab onto Koyaki. Koyaki trying to get out, but is unable to. Is going to be falling down to Ninja. That's going to be 4 killed on the side of Loki.
Yeah, it's 7-1. Looking at a 7,000 gold lead here. That's a lot of pressure. They're not going to be having any of their outer turrets now. We'll be looking at these more tier 2 turrets, or perhaps even further with an extension, sitting at 16 minutes, exerting a lot of pressure. Atlas hasn't been able to get a lot of the farm before because they were having to pressure and trying to get a win condition on one of their side lanes or mid lane. But now that can't be the case. They don't have this farm plan they're going to be able to fall back on with this bot tower falling down. And Kritis hasn't been able to really utilize this Draven pick as much as they would like.
So he had, like we saw in chat, that he had over 250 stacks of Adoration. But then with him going down, he loses, I believe, half, or is that 70%? Half? Okay. So then that's going to be going down to about 125 here at minimum. We can maybe check here shortly. He's only at 94 right now.
75%. I misspoke.
75%. Ooh. So that's absolutely brutal for Draven here. So right now, you had this play. You were trying to play for the numbers game, but that didn't go well. But now they're going to be trying to go in on Shuburai. Shuburai is going to be kind of caught in a bad way, having to recall back to his shadow form. That's going to be a grab. Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, Jinx is going to be getting the pickup onto Camille here. Too much is happening, and Ninja's going to be getting the grab. That's going to be Krita's going to go down. This is just an absolute turn from SKO, and this is just a slaughter.
Yeah, you know, the SKT skin out of Zach was not enough to get the skin to win victory. Unfortunately, it looks like here there's going to be a lot of pressure on this second dragon here. It looks like it's going to be Infernal, if I'm correct, which is just going to amplify their damage even more. Going for those number plays, I think, was correct. However, SKO was able to suss this out. They saw the Sussy Baka plays, and they were able to catch it and just not die. If you're ahead and you just don't die, you kind of turn these wins out. You force these plays out to get a numbers advantage, and if you don't fall for it, what else plan do you have?
At this point, I don't know, because you really shut down a lot of the win conditions of the side of Loki, and SKO has really done a good job of analyzing those ideas and really just squelching them.
Yeah, enabling their win condition and stopping the opponent's win condition almost in a fluid motion with the top lane, transitioning it down to the other lanes is very well executed by SKO. Unfortunately, the game's not over yet. It's not over till the fat lady sings. We'll have to see if they make any bad plays, overextend, maybe dive in too deep, and that Loki's over to, take some of that gold, steal it over, trick him into a bad play, just like we see out of classic Norse mythology.
So right now, you have double items onto the Sivir and onto Aatrox pre-20-minute marker. So both these champions are going to be quite strong here. I'm going to be excited to see if they are able to get any quick pickups. But right now, Aatrox is near double the farm that Camille has. So
Not
she is
just double
definitely
the
hurting.
farm, it's 8,800 gold to 4,600 gold. We're talking nearly double the gold there as well. That's on character, spent money. That's a bit of a lead. It hurts when you're on Aatrox.
Ooh, Shiburai going to be full diving onto Valkyrie. Going to be going through. Going to be dodging out the petrifying glance. That's going to be well played by him. That's going to be a pickup from Jinx onto Kuburakai. He's going to be also picking up Kritos. And right now, Sever damage coming through. Absolutely melting that team. But Atlas is going to be jumping on out of there, trying to get away from the team as the best they can. But he's going to be chased down through the top blue side jungle, but Ninja is going to be just pushing off Dusk here, not really even caring, just going to be taking this tower, taking this abuse.
Yeah, I think Velk had the right idea there. Unfortunately, the gold difference kind of spoke for itself, making that play very difficult to execute, unless Yone ended up screwing up. It was going to be a death sentence, but a well-played idea to be for sure.
That's going to be a flash coming out of Atlas, but that's going to be Koyami's ultimate coming on out. That's going to be popping the passive of the Zac here. Right now, Nightmare in a slightly bad position. He's going to be getting low, but he's going to be getting healed right back up. That's not going to be another kill for the side of Loki. Right now, Krita is trying to get some poke out, but he's going to be getting quite low in response.
Yeah, playing for these turrets, hoping they can protect your team, getting a little bit of damage out of them too for pressure.
Velcra might be getting this damage off. Has the Conqueror all fully stacked up. Gets the 1,000 gold shutdown onto Cassio. She has the Rylai's now. This is going to be very brutal for him to really kind of go in on somebody's play.
And Ro is stacked.
Oh, Atlas unable to get any of these knockups here, but that's going to be ultimate coming out of Cassio here. She's going to be getting a full grab. That's going to be a pickup onto the Sivir. She's getting all the money. Right now, Ninja's going to be turning around, getting a lot of this damage out. Valkyrie trying to get away the best they can, unable to. That's going to be a double pickup onto Nightmare. Kretas trying to get some damage, is able to get a pickup on Kane. Then going to be falling down to Unlimited here.
Yeah, trying to get some of their return kills, trying to stop the team from able to push here by killing as many people as possible. Unfortunately, Ninja is still alive. He doesn't have to be stealthy here at all. He can just hit the tower and really do a lot of damage.
So right now, Atlas trying to cut the wave behind them. That's going to be getting a TP in from Shiburai, and Atlas is likely, is not going to be falling down. Koyaki's able to come in and save him there. So now they're able to get some resets off, get some healing off, and SKO is going to have to back off. They got some big shutdowns on Cassio here, and that's going to be a third item pickup just immediately for her.
Yeah, Seraph's is going to be good, helping the sustain, helping that heal that they kind of want. Don't forget about the damage. That's going to hurt on Cassie.
But right now, we're going to be fighting over the fourth dragon of the game, and it is going to be another Infernal. We're going to see how this team fight goes. But it's still a massive gold lead on the side of SKO, around 14k. So right now, Atlas is going to be trying to hop on out and get away from the rest of the squad. Jinx is just going to be shoving in this bot lane, mid lane for free. But Ninja's all by himself. He might get caught out here. All right.
Nightmare has some good heal here as well with Warmogs. They're going to be hard to chunk out and poke out for these fights at the objective.
Ooh, Ninja's putting in the work onto Atlas here. Atlas going to be getting low, but unable to get anything further. Jinx is going to be dove in on by Dusk, but is going to be getting it away. That is just going to be Shiburai going to the bot lane, just wailing on this inhib. Well, you have Nightmare on the dragon, just going to be whittling that down slowly but surely.
Inhib isn't going to take itself. The minion wave, they're pushed pretty well stacked and autoing it to death. Well, all this pressure is being exerted. They have to answer to one of these towers, and Dragon's just being taken by Nightmare. They can't really stop it here. That's more damage for the enemy team, and that's Soul Point. That's even more pressure, really leaning into Loki, not letting them get away with this game at all.
So right now, I want to note in that last play, that was a really, really good mana shield by a Jinx there, being able to get away from that Camille ultimate. So it was very well timed.
Yeah, not getting caught out there is exactly what they need to do. This Baron is mostly free. They don't need their full team to do it. It's going to take a little bit until they get Aatrox to start wailing on it with the World Ender. But if they don't have the vision, they might not be able to get picked off here by Atlas, who's already down at 2 levels versus Nightmare.
So you do have the max health damage coming from the Sejuani to kind of help augment some of this missing damage onto this Baron, but who's going to be getting the pickup? And that's going to be picked up by the side of Zach. But Zach is most likely going to be going on down there. But now, is Valkyrie able to get the kill onto Shiburai? Shiburai is going to be going to full all-in. He hasn't died yet. Right now, this is going to be looking dire for Valkyrie. Valkyrie is going to be going on down, trying to get a flash away, but that's going to be pick up from Jinx. Jinx then going to be shoving in this mid lane. And this looks like this might be game here. You do have the Baron buffed minions, but this is still going to be dire straits for them. Your strongest member in Valkyrie going to be going on down.
Yeah, stealing the Baron there was fantastic. Loki getting the Baron to betray the enemy team, excellently done, but getting caught out was not slippery enough.
Right now, the double flash is coming in. That's going to be pick up onto Dusk immediately. Kratos is going to be getting on low here. Nightmare trying to get in some of this damage. Atlas trying to get some of this peel. Shiburai is going to be laying in the damage. Shiburai is going to be falling to the tower. And that's going to be Atlas pickup. Right now, they're just going to say, screw the team fight. We're going to be going for this. And this is going to be game.
That's the inhib.
And that is the inhib. And that's going to be a 3-0 victory for the side of SKO.
Yeah, cleanly played, always answering it out. They just kept keeping the same band saying, hey, you need to take a game for us to evaluate a new threat that stopped us from winning, and then just taking the game from there, getting a small early lead, executing that very well, and preventing the team from getting into game, making Loki lose this block.
So, looking at all three of these games, who do you think was the MVP for both teams?
For both teams, well, Atlas was able to kind of hover and facilitate a lot of stuff. So I would have to say they were a very good contender for Ace this block. And then for the other side on the SKO, it's a little bit more tricky. There's a lot of volatile stuff. Of course, the bot laning never getting caught out, the amount of vision they were able to pump out with their support, and of course, top lane pumping up the damage and really doing stuff really was good.
I think that Kane found a lot of value in the first two games. Third game, not as much of kind of the flashy plays, but I think Kane definitely did a great job throughout this set.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Kane did a very good job indeed.
All right, and that's going to be all for us, folks. Thank you very much for joining us on this 3 block. Thank you very much, Abbatrombone, for joining us.
Was a pleasure, as always. Thanks for co-casting.
And I am VerdantChaos, and we'll be seeing you all on the Rift.